Hi, everyone. Welcome to step 4, day 4, however you're doing this, doesn't matter. Hope you're hanging in there and not getting overwhelmed by this. I want to just, as a quick reminder, go through this at your own pace and be really gentle on yourself. So I took a break, as you might have seen. I don't know how much the video caught. My kids interrupted me filming after the first 3. So there's a little break between 3 and 4. And in between, I happened to read this article, which really resonated with me. And the title of it was something like, Parents Are Not Okay. And it was kind of going through like everything that's expected of us at this point, working, parenting, teaching, like being all these things for our kids and for our family is really overwhelming. It's really imperfect. It's really flawed. And something really resonated with me too. It was something about how, like, when the system fails, it's up to individuals to fix it. And that really resonated too, because it was like, wait, the school system is broken, and it's up to individual kids and families and parents to try to fix it. The medical system, the government, if you think of like big systems, it's just, why are we as individuals the ones having to try to pick up the pieces? So anyway, that's a rabbit hole I'm not going to go down, but I'm just trying to say that it was a struggle for me as I started thinking like, well, here I am giving families and parents like something more to do. I don't want that to be what this feels like. I don't want this to feel like more or like something else on your plate. I want this to feel supportive in a way that I truly, truly, truly believe from my own experience that doing these things makes your life easier, makes parenting easier and better. And so none of these things are meant to feel overwhelming or like homework or like something else to do. So just keep that in mind as you're going through it. If it starts to feel stressful, take a break from it and don't do it, because it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be supportive. Okay, so that said, day 4 is thinking about multiple intelligences. So multiple intelligence is something I wrote my master's thesis on years ago. Howard Gardner came up with this theory of multiple intelligences, which basically says that we're all smart. We all have intelligences. We all have all 8. So there are 8 multiple intelligences, and we all have all 8. But we have different strengths in different ways. So that might be the way that we show how smart we are. It might be what we enjoy doing. So usually what our preferences are related to what our smarts are, which is why I had you looking at your kids' preferences from the beginning, because you can actually tell pretty early on what, even babies, like what do they enjoy, what don't they enjoy. So it's just really interesting to observe. So the 8 multiple intelligences are being smart about yourself, so intrapersonal, interpersonal, being smart about others, nature, music, body smart, like physical, moving your body, word smart, number smart, picture smart, like art, and music smart. Okay, so that's how those are like simplified, because that's how I teach it to kids. The other words they use are something like logical, mathematical. Instead of number smart, it would be like logical, mathematical. So you can look at my cheat sheet that's attached to this for the other words, or you can Google it easily. But basically what I want you to think about is, given those 8 smarts, either, depending on how old your kid is, either you kind of take an inventory of what you've noticed. You've known your kids their whole life, probably. What do you think their strengths are? What are ways that you think that they are smart? And you could also, if they're old enough, you could also have this conversation with them. What do they know about themselves? It's a opportunity for them to work on their introspection, which is one of the smarts. But it's an area. It's really an interesting I mean, I wrote my master's thesis on it, so obviously I am pretty passionate about this, but I think it's a really interesting way to look at what schools value, what society values as smart. So often people feel that if they're not good at like number smart or word smart, which is kind of as we think about the traditional school subjects as like reading, writing, math, that if they're not good at that, if they're not smart in those areas or strong in those areas, that they feel dumb, they feel stupid, they feel like they can't, they're not as smart as their peers who happen to have those smarts. But why are we valuing one over the other? And I could easily make an argument that actually other smarts are much more important for being successful in life. And especially now with what we're going through in the pandemic and having to be inside and be with your family and deal with disappointment, that's certainly a lot of character development and social emotional frustration tolerance and flexibility, adaptability. So much there that word smart and math smart are not necessarily going to help you with. So I'm not downplaying math smart and word smart, but I just want to start seeing them as equal and helping a system to see them as equal and helping society to see them as equal so that we can get out of this really stuck in the box view of like abilities and disabilities, like an us and a them. It's just, we all have different strengths. That's really, it's so simple. It's really, really so simple. But I think finding your kids' strengths and smarts is just so awesome, and just thinking about it in a different way. And I know that if your kid is of school age, you probably have, some mandated work to do, like some mandated maybe meetings, Google Classroom meetings or Zoom meetings or whatever, or worksheet packet, online stuff. So, I mean, do the bare minimum, although you could always register as a homeschooler, by the way. You don't have to do any of the work they're giving you. But do the bare minimum. If that's not where your kid thrives, don't spend so much time and energy forcing them to do a worksheet packet. Just get them through it, or don't register, to opt out. But yeah, just thinking about the different smarts. I think it's a really powerful lens shift. That's really actually hard to do when the kids are in school full time, because that's how they spend a lot of their day, is thinking that they have to like read and write and do math. So just have fun with it. Just explore. Okay, so remember, none of this should feel like homework. It shouldn't feel terrible. It shouldn't feel stressful. If it does, take a break. And if it does, let me know so that I can help you, or so that I can kind of change the content a little, or my presentation of the content to make it more accessible. Because I want it to feel supportive and good, not overwhelming. Okay, so that's step 4, multiple intelligences, and I'll see you at step 5.